When we can support the gut system, we can get that gut health. The immune system resides in the gut. We're not sick anymore. We're not bloated. We sleep again. Our moods are normal. We're happy. Like, happiness starts in your gut system.
I'm thrilled to welcome my amazing friend, Renne Lynn with 3 International. She is a health and wellness coach, and from my own heart, integrative nutrition coaching is her amazing background. So thank you so much for being here. I am thrilled to have you and excited for you to make the trip. You're all the way from California. So thank you for that.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me, Jess. And I admire you so much. And just every time we talk, more and more comes out about you and your journey. And that's what I love, because I believe that the challenges in our life are here to make us better and to help others along the way. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. So I know we've talked a little bit, but I'd love to share with my viewers and listeners a little bit more about you, and even some of the things that we also have in common and connect with. I mean, I'd mentioned the integrative nutrition, so that's been a huge part of my life over the last 10 years, but then also life after loss of loved ones.
Yeah, for sure. You know, recently, about a month and a half ago, my ex-husband, who has been in my life for a long, long time, although we haven't been together for many years, he passed. And my young son, you know, it really hit me so hard that he wasn't going to have a dad anymore. And I think sometimes we think, you know, just because we have moved on in our lives and everybody has a new family and new people involved, that maybe it won't affect us in the same way. But once we love, we always love. And so, that definitely has been a part of my journey this year. And as I told you, you know, going into my 60s, I wanted to really, I felt a lot of shifting going on. And just as we traverse each part of our life, we feel different shifts. But for me, this year was really, where am I heading? Like, going into my 60s, and like who do I want to be? Like, I've been all these different people.
I mean, you were running businesses.
Starting at 24. I was in the event business for 25 years. I segued into health and wellness in my late 30s. I got really sick in my early 50s with metal toxicity, and I was doing health coaching at that time, being a sick health coach. Like, that's kind of crazy.
Well, we kind of find ourselves in that position sometimes, right? Because I do feel through my own challenges with my health, that's how I even came into the integrative space and into the space of like healing and helping others heal. Because what I went through, I really didn't want to watch other people unnecessarily continue to go down those paths.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? So, you know, as we, you know, like I remember being really super sick. I was chronically fatigued. I would go to bed. I would pick up my little boy and we would get in bed. We would do his homework. And, you know, I was in bed by 4:00 every evening for several years. And, you know, part of that process was deciding that I didn't want to go a traditional route, that I wanted to, I knew my body, you know, God gives us the ability to heal if we believe. And I believed. And there were some days I didn't believe. There were some days I felt like, is this it? You know, am I always going to feel like this?
I mean, we talk about that in grief too. Like, it's a process. You know, you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. And I personally coached thousands of people in nutrition, integrative medicine, and gut cleansing. So, I mean, I feel like I've seen it all. I've seen and heard it all. And the good news is that we do have time and we have willingness. So as long as you can make up your mind and find that little spark, right, of something that you can do to help yourself. Yeah. And believe in it.
Yeah.
It does help carry you to the next step,
When we have a belief system, like I knew, I don't know why I knew, I don't know how I knew, but when my doctor told me, well, you have 300 times the amount of mercury in your system, I knew that I could get that out of my body.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how.
Right.
And the same way with grief is, I know that we can all be happy again, even in those moments like, you were with your husband for many, many years, and never once are you thinking like, where do I go next?
Right. Or what am I going to do if he's not around?
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt a lot of anxiety after Rudy's passing, a lot of just not knowing who to trust, who to go to next, like what was my next step. And there were a lot of days that it's okay that I was feeling that way. But what I decided was I had a very similar belief that I could see myself on the other side of this, and knowing that I could be a role model and a strength hole for my kids, so they inspired me so much to keep getting up and doing the work.
That is a really important part. Like when I was sick, I had a little 7-year-old, I couldn't quit, I couldn't just lay in my bed.
Yeah.
So that does get you out of bed. It keeps you going. And through grief, I'm a firm believer, we need help.
Yeah. Yes.
With that, whether it's coming from your church or, kind of
counseling.
This last year, I hired a lady that she's a hypnotherapist, like in my early, or my late 20s, I started seeing a hypnotherapist, and that was pretty woo-woo back then,
I did hypnotherapy for childbirthing for Liam for my last.
Oh, I love that.
It was fantastic.
Yeah,
So
because
that's awesome.
We're able to, break it down in our minds, and we're able to overcome those things that we subconsciously made a decision about.
Yes.
That isn't going to work for us.
Right.
And maybe things that we made decisions about a long time ago.
Yep.
When we were kids, that, we still have those old belief systems.
It's like computed into our brain cells.
It is.
But then it becomes irrelevant after some time, right? And then this is the transition period from even the grief, the process of grieving, and the transition of reinventing yourself over time.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about your experience in your transition as you were approaching 60 and your businesses were not working anymore for you, right? So what did you do? That seems so scary to me.
I started at 24. I had very traditional businesses. And so I had, a party rental company. I had conventions. I had a magazine. I ended up for my own personal health, segueing into yoga and Pilates. So of course I needed to open up a studio, right? I couldn't just leave that alone and just go to yoga class. So here I have all these businesses, and 2009 hits. And literally all of my businesses become obsolete because people are just trying to survive at that point.
Right.
And scared.
Yep.
So I had to slowly liquidate everything. And then I had to say okay, what out of all the things that I've done brought me joy? And it was really the health industry.
Yep.
And so I went into health right about the time I got sick. And I started coaching people to lose weight. And I had a weight loss and wellness clinic, and we had cooking classes and all these different things. But ultimately, 2020 hits. And now here my businesses are shut down again. And I'm just
there's got to be a new way.
I'm I don't want to do this anymore. I was 58 when 2020 happened. I'm 62 now.
Yeah.
And I just decided I want to do, and it's funny because I found my old goal list from 2019 that said businesses online. And so I realized, I didn't find that till last year. I realized, oh my gosh, so I had already set those manifestations into practice and 2020 hits. And I was like, okay,
Hence the importance of the journaling.
Oh,
right?
yes. I write every year. I do like all these, all these verticals. And so I just said, I am going to take all of this online. Like I've had an online store for my business for a while. People didn't really use it much.
But it wasn't like a thing then.
Yeah.
I feel like even after coronavirus, it's been
Oh, well, it got fast
exploding.
forwarded by 6 years, Amazon did.
So how did you find 3 International?
Well, I found it because of my health. Like I was taking IV therapy for 6 years.
Okay.
And then I started studying, why doesn't my body absorb my nutrients? Because I was all out of vitamin B. Like my skin was crepey. My hair's falling out. I'm bloated all the time. My skin is aging. I can't sleep. I have insomnia. I have areas of pain in my body. Well, I started realizing they were all connected because I thought they were all separate.
Right.
Like, why is my hair falling out? Well, okay, maybe it's my nutrition. But I had good nutrition.
Right.
So then, someone says, well, you need more supplements. So I'm taking more supplements, but that's not helping. And then.
But your body essentially wasn't absorbing it through the intestinal tract, which is, I found a lot of patients dealing with that.
Exactly.
Myself
so I was taking all these IVs from my integrative doctor. And then I'm like, okay, wait, I need something that I can simplify my life because literally every week I'm spending $300 plus all the supplements he gave me.
Yeah.
And I was still only feeling about 50%, like different than I feel today.
Yeah.
And so I found this company with the technology for cellular absorption.
Yep.
So just like, I think of like, remember when we had a BlackBerry or a flip phone?
Yep.
And now we have an iPhone 15.
Right.
So that's the same way with a product line, a supplement line, all
and
of
the technology.
All of our nutrition.
The nutrients to the tissue.
Yeah. So instead of something going into your body and your stomach acid breaks it down and you excrete it, which is 90% of what's on the market, 95% of what's on the market is synthetic. Our bodies don't use synthetics.
That's right.
So I wanted something that was natural, like almost like I'm eating, because I eat it, I eat a lot of whole foods and don't eat processed foods and all these different things. And slowly but surely, my Hashimoto's symptoms went away. I don't have all my achiness of my joints any longer.
Your skin is glowing. I mean, you're just gorgeous.
And, I started using our collagen products, realizing that powder stuff I was using was just excreting through my body.
Yeah.
And then here, these liquids, like, changed everything. Like, I used to get fillers and things, in my 50s. And now I live filler-free, Botox-free. And, our bodies are just miracles if we allow them to get the nutrients that they need.
Yeah. Well,
so that's why I found 3.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so thankful and lucky to also find this amazing company and product line because it's so easy. And it's through a mutual friend of ours, Jen Seven, who I just had her on at a previous podcast.
Nice.
So I'm just thrilled to be back working with her again. We did this.
She's awesome.
Yeah, we did the health and nutrition and diet coaching. I did that with her for a few years before moving on to the integrative space. And I'm so thankful to be like back in the loop and working with such amazing products. Like the thing I love most is how easy it is and like compact. You're not taking 20 different vials of different products every day and this timing and that and da. No, it's like so simple. And I wish in some cases in the past that I had access to this for some of my patients because it's tough. Like when you're trying to get on a new regimen or even eating in a different way and then adding all the supplements in, which we need them when our body is working from like a lowered state. We do need to help supplement the body with good nutrients. But yeah, like 20 bottles in, I'm like, okay, this is overwhelming
that's
for
when
anyone.
People quit. That's when people quit.
That's right.
And with natural wellness, it is not a medication. So
Exactly.
the one thing about Three International is we bridge the gap from proactive wellness to, between proactive wellness and prescription meds.
Yeah.
And everything is doctor recommended. It's
Yeah.
all in the PDR. So doctors recommend these. Like, it's the only product line that doctors actually recommend.
Yeah.
And that's what's key is the prescription digital registry is the key for that.
And you have a lot of other practitioners that
Tons.
that use and that promote the product to their clientele.
Absolutely.
Because it's so easy, it's turnkey. I haven't had any upset stomach or any issues with my gut, which I'm very sensitive. I mean, I, like you, had, toxicity in my gut, and it was because I had overgrowth of parasites, yeast, bacteria, and it was slowly breaking down my intestinal walls and then leaking into my body. And like, nobody knows that that's what's really happening. And here I am with mood swings, anxiety, joint pain, gas, discomfort, like so much sensitivities to the foods and the things that I was eating.
And what does your doctor tell you? Your doctor says, "Oh, you must be perimenopausal."
Yeah.
Or, "Here, let's give you an antidepressant."
Yes.
You're just depressed.
I did the antidepressant for like 3 months, and no,
Best thing ever.
I just felt weird. I didn't even
Because
feel
you're
like
not
myself.
supposed to feel.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to feel.
It was not good for me.
Then you start gaining weight. So I've been in the weight loss and wellness industry now 12 years, and invariably somebody comes in and there's
glossed
nothing.
over look.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's nothing coming out of them, and they've gained 40 pounds in the last year.
And they're like, I don't know what happened.
Exactly. And I'm like, "Are you on antidepressants?" "Yes." So that's where we work to hopefully get you back to a natural state.
Yeah.
And obviously we want you to work with your doctor too.
Of course. Yeah.
But when we can support the gut system, we can get that gut health. The immune system resides in the gut. We're not sick anymore. We're not bloated.
Yep.
We sleep again. Our moods are normal. We're happy.
Yep.
Like, happiness starts in your gut system.
Yes. That's right. So now let's talk a little bit about like Three International and the system, right? So there's 6 main products. And not that we have to go into all of it, but I like that 2 of them are a liquid, like you had mentioned. So they absorb very quickly. And I find that the antioxidant packet, I feel naturally energized after taking that.
Glutathione. It's the key to life.
I know. I love
And
that stuff.
when I got sick, my doctor said, "You have no glutathione." And I'm like, "I don't even know what that is." But, he's like, "And you can only get it through an IV."
Yeah.
So there's only 2 ways to get glutathione: IV or in our cellular absorption system called a liposome. So a little molecule.
Liposomal. Yeah.
And you're just going to drink this little pack, and it's literally penetrating the mucous membrane, going right in. And it is like the fountain of youth. Like, I can tell, glowing Jess, that you have been taking your Eternal.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it truly is. Like, when we're out of our antioxidants, that's where, you go to the class reunion and you go like, "Whoa, what happened to her?"
Yeah.
It's that super fast aging, and you can actually turn back time. Like, you can look at pictures of me over the last 5 years where I literally have turned back time.
Yeah.
And
I've seen it time and time again in myself, because I have a similar experience of looking older than I do now even.
Got the dark circles and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do think there's so much value to understanding really what's going on and finding the root cause, which I think is more so how you run your practice is really looking for root
It's all functional nutrition now, whereas previously I was just like, let's help you get the weight off. And then I started, as I got sick and started healing myself, I was like, most of my clients are bloated. Their hair is falling out. They can't sleep. They've gained 20, 30, 40 pounds in the last year.
Anxiety, mood swing.
Exactly. They have a lot of pain in their body. They
so much
have
pain
mood
sometimes.
disorders and what have you. And so, it slowly dissipates as we heal that gut system. And as we heal that leaky gut, then, you're not constipated anymore.
Right.
And lots of things happen, but very simply, our line of products is 6 simple products that because of nanotechnology, we deliver them small, we deliver them quick, people get results, their energy changes. Like when you wake up with energy instead of like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get through the day? Everything changes.
Let's talk a little bit of, I want to go back to the pain, because I do feel like there is a product that I've been using where I noticed my inflammation came down pretty quickly.
Revive.
Yes, that Revive product is amazing. And I mean, look, people also don't realize, and this was part of my coaching along the way, was to teach us, now that we, let's say, get your gut a little bit more balanced, now your central nervous system and that vagus nerve, we can start tapping into reducing inflammation in those areas as well, which I think the Revive is clearly doing that when I take it.
Yeah, because, you know, there's all these nutrients that they're peer reviewed, they're studied, 3,000 studies on turmeric, curcumin, right? I used to take all the little yellow pills and I had a lot of yellow, you know what? And I started realizing this is just going right through me. And then I start taking Revive. And I used to wake up every morning and I literally slowly open my fingers because of my Hashimoto's diagnosis. Now, a lot of people think that your thyroid is a disease. Your thyroid is actually a symptom of something else. And so to really understand, if you are on thyroid meds, you can work with a practitioner to change your lifestyle, get your inflammation down. When inflammation is that precursor to everything. Like I was just working.
It's like the invitational petri dish to all these other problems.
So like you dance all the time. Like you got to be sore all the time, and you know you're moving your muscles around, and you're on your high heels, and you were talking about your feet and all that. It just, you know, it's constantly like I up my dose 2 or 3 times. Because I am in my 60s, I have had all these different things, and I am active all the time. I just went to New York and walked 10 miles, you know, day before yesterday. So it's so important. And if we can bring that inflammation down in the body, we lessen the load of type 2 diabetes, of gout, of, you know, all these inflammatory things, or just people in my age group that want to work out.
And be more active.
Exactly. But they don't because they can't.
They're in pain.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I just love the ease of this whole thing, and of course the results. And I've had several friends now trying out the system, and they all love it. I mean, it's unanimous, you know. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited to keep sharing this with others and showing them that, listen, like, just because you felt like that for a few years now doesn't mean that you always have to feel like that. And it is not because of your age, or this just must be what it's like to age. It's not necessarily the case, you know? So I love to inspire others to at least take a look, like just start asking the questions instead of just making an assumption about yourself. You know? We have to be our own best advocate.
I was reading about menopause in my late 30s. I don't know why, but I do know why. My dad was always into living to 100. Unfortunately, he didn't. But he got well into his 80s. But I love the blue zones. I love talking about, you know, how am I going to live the rest of my life? I don't want to live the rest of my life sitting on the couch waiting to die. I want to live with vitality. I want to travel. Like my best friend, Mike, his mom travels at 87 years old. Like she'll get on a plane and go to Europe. And that's who I want to be. And I want to help other people. And I want people to find joy. Like find your joy, find your purpose.
I mean, that's what we're here for.
That's right.
You know, Renee, I really feel like that. Like, is just to help others to know that there is a different and better way to live. So now, speaking of not just even the physical part of, you know, taking these amazing supplements, there is an opportunity also business-wise.
Absolutely.
You know, and a lot of my listeners are looking for that. So
that's right.
Share a little bit about 3 International and the opportunity there.
Yeah, I would love to do that. 3 International launched a very modern platform February of 2023. And what that did is it allowed someone like me to have a global wellness brand. So like I have business centers in Canada, in Australia, in the Philippines, Malaysia, and obviously all over the United States. I'm from California, and I met you through another health coach. We met online. Like 95% of our business is digital. Like
across the country.
That's right. I'm on Zooms to Asia and to all over our country. Every week, meeting 200, 500, 1,000 people, and really working with practitioners that need to add additional income streams. They're already referring products. And of course, in the wellness business, we want to refer the best products.
And stand behind it.
And then having the ability, we're business people. Like as much as we love to give away our services, we have families and you know, we have to run this as a business. And so, you know, having those additional income streams, like I can help a med spa, a chiropractor, a naturopath add $1,000 a week, $5,000 a month, $8,000 a month for products that they are already recommending.
And they can leverage their business.
Absolutely. And building the whole practice with no inventory. Like it's so modern.
I love that. I really love it so much. Well, I am thrilled to be working with you, and I'm just so thankful to have you here with us today. I think this was just such a great discussion, and I know my listeners are going to really love it and learning more about our bodies and the opportunities, you know, that we can take to advocate for ourselves. So
thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. This was awesome. So now, Renee, share with my listenership, how can they find you online? Because I recently was on one of your podcasts. So thank you again for that. I thought that was just beautiful. So share with us, how can we find you online?
Well, on the web, I'm coachrenelynn.com. And I do virtual coaching. So I help people all over the world to, you know, take a look at their bodies and to be the best version of themselves. And we look at lifestyle, we look at gut health, immune health. We look at menopause, perimenopause. Maybe we need those hormones. I work with a lot of men also. So all of those areas. But then also I have an Instagram where I'm all about inspiring you to be the best version of yourself, no matter what age you are. And then the Turned Up Life podcast, which
Turned
again,
Up Life. I love that so much.
So it's, to me, when I looked at what do I want to name my podcast, I was like, I have turned up my life several times.
Oh, I get goosebumps.
And yes, exactly. And so like I think of like driving down the road in my convertible and like the music is screaming and I'm singing my favorite song. That's what I want my life to be like. Like I want to be able to turn up the volume, turn down the distractions, like turn out the noise of your life.
And find the joy.
And find the joy and find your purpose. Like we all have a purpose. And sometimes we don't think we do, but we do. You're inspiring someone no matter who you are. There is someone watching you, so be inspiring.
Well, thank you so much for being here, and thank you guys for joining me and watching Glow Talks with Jess. I am so thrilled to bring you this content and to help you live your best and inspired life. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any of my videos and the listening podcasts. You can find me on YouTube, Glow Talks with Jess. Please also find me on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And feel free to reach out, DM me on Instagram, Jess Ernst, if you have any questions or you want to know more about any of this content that I'm delivering to you. Thank you again for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.